Howdy folks, this is the Cornycast episode 3, part 1 of 2. Inspired by Robert. Alright, so I was going to do it in front of the Whole Foods, the brand new Whole Foods that opened a few days ago upon tribal lands. Now they cleared out some low income housing and put some expensive condos, I think, above it. So good on ya, I guess. Former mayor of Pittsburgh. I don't know. It's no one man's doing. Granted, I think John Mackey had something in mind when he started the company decades ago, and that was growth for profit. Because read the New York Times article in which he speaks of profit exclusively, positively. Now I'm speaking off the cuff. I have nothing planned, but I do have Remedy in my hand. Sometimes I rhyme like Dr. Seuss, I don't know. Or is it NF? Hopefully not like Eminem. But Remedy, Brutus, see, I'm doing a lot of cross-pollination and merchandising with these things. The podcast, the aspiring comedy, well, the comedy, hopefully. I don't want it to aspire, I want it to just be in Ramdassian fashion. Shit, even the date I'm going on tonight, she straight away said I was a comedian. I guess she thought I was funny. I don't know. You know what's funny? Not being able to open this bottle with one hand. So let's place this upon the altar of capitalism and bow down to profit. And then debate Richard Wolff and get our asses handed to us. Or at least John Mackey did. So having just purchased this at Whole Foods, Remedy, it's a great song by the band Disciple. Brutus was just listening to Disciple. I love the hair. Look at that. This is why it is good to take video with your podcast. Remedy by the band Disciple. However, he was listening to Back Again, because that album, man, just listen to the guitars and the wah on that album, and the guttural screams and whatnot, and the biblical passages from the Psalms and so forth. Reminds Bruce of when he saw them back in Ohio at this little trendy church with weird beliefs like the Bible, the Christian canon is the Protestant, the American evangelical canon is the infallible, if not inerrant, word of God, Jehovah Jireh and whatnot. Anyhow, let's try this. This costs the same as a biggie bag at Wendy's. So you could have a strawberry frosty, or you could have a berry immunity. And this tastes like Nesquik. No, not really. A little bit. But it's full of great things. Even made with a heart. It's made with a like from Facebook. I mean Meta. Let's just change the name from Whole Foods to Amazon. No one will notice. This is good. I don't think you're going to get... I mean, it tastes okay. You can tell that there's 7 grams of sugar in this instead of 40. But hey, that's a good thing. So you've got some iron, calcium, 7 mcgs of vitamin D, and there's plenty of vitamin C in here. 10 grams of protein, that's key. Mostly, I didn't want to have to brush my teeth again since I am going on a date, and I just flossed and brushed at LA Fitness. What? Thank you for helping us saints and sinners, as it were. Now we live in a land where churches go out of business and profiteering grocers expand, and that is life. But thank goodness there are stores like Aldi that don't place profit as its main pillar. I know John Mackey likes to speak of all these different factors in harmony and balance, and writes books about conscious capitalism, or a book about conscious capitalism. But the proof is in the overpriced organic pudding, dear sir. And sometimes you've got to skim the rubbery top off to get to the underlying motives, and something doesn't smell great in the compost bin at Whole Foods all the time. You know what I'm saying? Now, what's really weird is this Whole Foods, I walked in, I was like, shit, it's just like the one in Wexford. It's a spitting image of it, the whole layout. They just made more room for single beverages because of the profitability. The markup on these things is crazy, so it's a good thing to have a lot of facings of. You want to have like 10 facings of water, that's $3 each. Now, much love not only to Aldi but to Trader Joe's for having bottles of water for 17 cents. Can you imagine John Mackey, Jeff Bezos, or any of these other people. Jeff Bezos is no longer the CEO of Amazon, I believe. Allowing someone to walk out with an item that was only 17 cents? I don't think so. I think they would have a stroke or a heart attack. Hey, there's an ambulance right over there. Don't worry, death is coming for yins as well, so you might want to, live for more than just money. As Jesus once said, you're either going to love God or you're going to love mammon, money. Now, mind you, speaking in Aramaic, and these men probably don't believe in God, but even if you're an atheist, you could still live for more than money. And look at currency, see that in God we trust, and scoff at it and laugh and realize you have Andrew Jackson on a $20 bill. Read about that guy. Wow, what a piece of shit. Hopefully this Andrew isn't quite as bad. He has his flaws, but Brutus has been working on him, trying to make him a better man, trying to get him back to playing guitar too. He'll be hearing some Chris Carrabba tonight. He figured what better way to prepare for a Dashboard Confessional show than a bunch of old Disciple music and whatever this guy on his motorcycle is gonna ride by playing ultra loudly. Brutus's JBL doesn't get that loud, fortunately, for people all over East Liberty, Garfield, Friendship, Lawrenceville, wherever else. Let's say back again. These tooth aren't tooth. This tooth isn't coming back again in its original fashion, but that's what happens. Bands evolve. Sometimes they're half decent like Metallica and then go to crap, but hey, they still have way more fans and are more popular than Disciple, which means they're by default better. Actually, no, I would rather listen to old Disciple than Metallica, and I'd rather listen to NF than Eminem, and that's just how it is. Maybe I'm weird, but I know those guys, those big bands, they have very, very wimpy egos. They don't like hearing from detractors. So it's a good thing they won't see this. Now, let's get to the meat of it. Let's make that part 2. So I'm not really prepared. This is a podcast. I got to take things seriously. I can't just make stupid songs about Rob Bell and talk off the cuff. No, I got to be prepared with notes that I can't follow. No, Brutus did buy some index cards at Rite Aid in Lawrenceville last night, mostly because no wonder he wears a hat. Brutus, you know what? I need to get a hat too. Mostly because who's going to pay $5 or $6 for some paper? I mean, what the hell? Seriously. That seems egregious. Like Ticketmaster fees. No, Brutus is old school. He walked down to Stage AE to purchase them. He still had to pay extra, just like at the Roxy. And it's kind of crazy times we live in, but I am not going to spend, Brutus is not going to spend $89 and then see it go up to $110. What the hell? Thank you, Pearl Jam, for trying to divert the future from this. But no, this is the future in which we live now. And it reminds me of that Evolution song or whatever, and the virtual reality and all that stuff. And that'll be the next post Brutus makes after this, because this is going a multitude of places. The Cornycast Instagram, the Brutus Instagram, and perhaps the Andrew J. Cornelius Instagram, and that is me. Do not conflate the two, Brutus and Andrew J. Cornelius. We may have some similarities, but we have some differences. He is, now get ready for your SATs, Brutus is to a Strawberry Frosty as Andrew J. Cornelius is to, that's right, us the remedy. I am the, yo soy remedio. Ironically, coincidentally, Duolingo is right over there. Brutus, unlike me, needs to work on his Espanol. So maybe we'll do a podcast one day about liberation theology. Now, this might be like 20 years from now. And I'll be able to cite sources that Brutus has read in the original vernacular, because there's a lot to be said for reading things in their original dialect. Or even trying to understand a man like Jesus in his Aramaic. Was his first century, I was going to say Palestinian, but not really, first century context, Jewish context. Now we've gone on a tangent. Now, weren't we going to talk about Whole Foods? I don't even know what the title of this episode is going to be. By the time it gets posted, okay. Maybe it should be posted, maybe it should not be posted at all. No, be titled Dashboard Confessional. No. Take the stage, AC. But Stage AE, you're coming up. Brutus is stoked. He met this petite, young, creepy doll. She seemingly dropped out of heaven. Next thing he knows, he's hanging out with her. The Lord works in mysterious ways, right, Kevin? Or at least the universe does. You know, these are all words we're tossing around. At their core, there is no core, because if you study quantum physics, you realize we're not all made up of tiny little bits. We are past the Newtonian, we're far beyond a mechanical and material view of reality, according to modern physics, which Brutus doesn't really know that much about, but he knows that much. So, woo-woo aside, as it were. Now, don't try to tell Stephen Jenkins he's into woo-woo when he's on your podcast, because he'll have none of it. He might quote some astrology and whatnot, make references, but they're all for the sake of love. No, all for the sake of his love of Rachel Maddow. Now, do I have any celebrity crushes? Chris Krava? No. He's an attractive man, but Gwen Stefani used to be attractive, but then she got a lot of Botox. I think Bruce is just really into the girl he's going to hang out with tonight. I think there's something to be said for that song, Love the One You're With. Love's a bit much right off the bat, but actually, no, it's not. Because you could come from a place like Ram Dass, who's featured briefly, should have been much more, you know what, Brutus just doesn't focus well on the topic at hand. So we're going to revisit Ram Dass, and I already knew we were going to revisit Whole Foods, which is why I made this part 1, and we're going to really get into it. Is Brutus going to read that book, Conscious Capitalism, in the meantime? Maybe just, well, if he can get it for free from the library, does he really want to line the pockets of John Mackey and buy a copy? If so, he'll ironically probably buy it from Amazon. How about I write a book one day called The Ego is Yellow Teeth? I'm liking this. No, that came up in the previous podcast, and that's one reason I like to not write everything out ahead of time. Things kind of drop out of the sky, just like said creepy doll, the little cutie pie, cutie patootie. I mean, she's so petite, I might even be able to get her on my shoulders so she can see over tall creeps like me. Now, this is Creep with a K, don't get it wrong. Creepy Doll Factory, Daniel, things coming out of his imagination and mind and turning into handmade, fair trade. I mean, he sets the prices, but if you want a cool toy for Christmas, don't go to Toys R Us, which apparently is coming back, or order it off Amazon. No. Get Creepy Dolls. Brutus is going to do his best to popularize his peers and forthcoming peers and all the fetuses that are yet unborn, even though Brutus stands more with Elizabeth Warren, much more so with a woman like her than men like, who's the dude from Florida who's visiting up here? I don't know, but he's in Donald Trump's pocket, which is not a good pocket to be in. All right, people. Since I just hit 1313, and that 13 is Bruce's employee number for Live Nation, he's going to charge you $30 a ticket. No, not quite that much. Wait till 2030. He's going to finish his drinky poo. Now, this episode is sponsored by Pittsburgh Regional Transit, PRT, not PRS. Granted, Brutus likes Mark Shermani wants that MT15 all tube head, crank it out so he can play Old Disciple on it, and maybe some Tremonti on it, and maybe some. No, he's gonna do his own shit on it, man, and be inspired by the tone, real tube tone, finger licking good, better than 4 at Wendy's, much better. So is eating clean. That doesn't exist. That's just some stupid lingo. But eating healthier than fast food, that's the way to go. Sorry, Wendy. I'm trying to stay away from you like I'm trying to stay away from Club Erotic. Anyhow, speaking of cuz Brutus would rather spend his money on real things like cool dates with cool creepy dolls that pop out of nowhere, like trolls. So little plastic trolls, rubber trolls, weird hair like Brutus. Wouldn't it be cool to make a homemade troll with your own hair? Wait, that's a voodoo doll. Anyhow, Voodoo Donuts. This is also sponsored by Voodoo Donuts in Portland, Oregon, where Brutus once kind of lived, just like he was living in the Wexford version, which was Tigard. And he went to Earlham College. That's why he's a weird Quaker boy now, sort of. If you really want to have to label him he wouldn't mind if he sowed some oats. Is that what it's called tonight? I don't know. But, you know, I think it's called, technically, in the scholarly literature, to which Brutus shall never, well, maybe when he's old he will post to it, the hanky-panky. So everybody do the hanky-panky, play some Duck Duck Goose in the meantime, read Conscious Capitalism or whatever it is. No, I probably don't want to read that. Maybe read the Gospel of Luke instead as an antidote, as a remedy to Amazon, Whole Foods, and Conscious Capitalism, and read about what it's like to be conscious. Conscious of your nature, conscious of love with a capital L, conscious of the fact that some people sleep and live in front of places like this while others live in lavish luxury and have hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, or, I mean, this goes for some professional athletes as well, etc. Even stand-up comics. People get out of touch. But, as aforementioned, I shouldn't say but, as aforementioned, let's go with yet. Yet death shall knock at all our respective doors. And it's best to prepare for that ahead of time. Ram Dass goes into that. I don't think John Mackey really goes into that. Maybe John Mackey needs to take an ayahuasca retreat. And if he has, well, I don't know what to say. Maybe you need another one. No. People, do one thing for me tonight before I sign off on part 1, episode 3. Listen to your favorite Dashboard Confessional song, or even better yet, go discover Twin Forks. I think that's what it's called, Twin Peaks. Great show. Twin Fork. Now this is one thing I wish I could remember. Brutus doesn't have the best memory. He smoked a little weed back in the day. Still misuses, some would call abuses, a substance known as alcohol, i.e. poison, sometimes, occasionally, not every day by any means, but it's still not good for the old noggin. So these are excuses. Twin Forks. Check it, anyhow, check it. It's good LP. Brutus might even yell something about it when he sees Chris. He's been known to be rather loud at times when he sees his favorite bands and artists. I wouldn't be surprised if NF heard him at Stage A, which is the only other time Brutus went there. So this is exciting. This is his second go round, and he actually has a date this time, unlike the first time when he was high on paint fumes off his custom-made NFT that had Eminem being a rap wait, you know what's funny about that shirt? It's very much like the MGK Rap Devil thing, and that was before Brutus ever even saw or knew about that. Maybe it was even before it came out. I don't know. It was one of those quantum things. I think Brutus made the shirt, and then some other white rapper made a song, and he channeled his comedic mind into a guy from Cleveland of all places. Oh god, no. F the Brown. Actually, Brutus has a soft spot in his heart for the Cleveland Browns, believe it or not. Because look, Steelers weren't going to make it very far in the playoffs that one year anyway. So give the Browns a chance. Give peace and love a chance. John Lennon. So, may not be seeing John Lennon tonight, but man, everything spirals into something else. Now I want to talk about Salman Rushdie, him getting stabbed on stage. At least he didn't get shot like John Lennon. As I said, no matter what takes each one of us out, we're all headed for the same thing. Prepare for it ahead of time. Get your life in order. And if you want to live for greed, which is, in my opinion, a synonym for profit or profiteering, fine. But I do think we have life reviews. I do think at the end of our lives we do have, I don't know if I want to call it an opportunity. It's an experience, and it could be a pleasant experience, or it could be a harsh experience. And I really think that even in Buddhism, kind of, if it talks about the hell realms or hell or anything of the sort, that's one type of suffering, and we can actually avoid it, and we can actually avoid hitting the 20-minute mark by no longer speaking. So let's go silent like a good Quaker and Buddha, and enjoy some Dashboard Confessional and Break the Songs. after doing some silence. You know what I mean? Not doing. See, I'm very Western. You got to do. Nah, you just got to be. So we're gonna end this episode 3, part 1 with be. Be well, friends. Peace.